All right. So we've got a special guest coach today, friend slash colleague Brian. How do you pronounce your last name? Azarian?
Azarian, yeah, just like it's spelled.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, mine is pronounced how it's spelled too, but for some reason people still find a way to mess it up.
How do you pronounce it?
Irizarry.
Right, that's what I figured too.
Yeah, yeah, simple enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'll give you the floor in just a second to kind of explain again your methodology, your approach, and what we're going to do today, and anything else that you feel is relevant that we need to know. And that's it. Looking forward to also partaking. So I'll be following along with everybody else today. It's a nice change of
Beautiful.
pace.
I know, right? To be led through something you don't have to think at all.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Quick question for equipment: does everybody have access to something that they can hang on, either a chin up bar or rings, anything like that?
No.
Yes.
No, Jesse, you're the only one that doesn't have it, or was that Elliot?
That was
Me.
Jesse that no. Elliot,
Okay.
yes.
Right
Paul,
on. Cool.
Pete, yeah.
Yeah, I have a ledge in another room that I can hang on.
All right. Beautiful. Jesse, nearby, do you have a doorknob?
Yeah.
Can you possibly open that door to hang on both sides of the doorknob, inside and outside at the same time?
No.
No?
No.
All right. How about maybe a kitchen sink? Just real quick, what's your mobility like right now, Jesse? Can you move around on that floor? Can you walk around? What's your status?
No, I can walk, but I have good upper body strength.
All right. All right. Beautiful. All right. We can work with that. All right. So first off, let's have everyone, if you have shoes, kick your shoes off. You won't need your shoes. We're gonna do some standing coordination, really light warm up. And then I'm really not gonna talk so much. I'm just gonna lead you guys through a bunch of different stuff today. And that will pretty much do the talking for me because I really don't need to talk about it. Let's just experience some stuff.
Sweet.
So, also my volume is like kind of 60-40 on this computer. So if you have any questions, just yell and hopefully I'll be able to hear you.
Sweet.
All right. You guys all see me pretty good?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So let's start here. We're gonna do some slow head circles. Doesn't matter which direction you start. Both feet planted, whatever feels comfortable. Don't even overthink how you're standing. Let's just start with the real basics. Whatever tempo you're going at, cut that tempo in half now. So now we're going through real slow. And what we're gonna be attuning to over the next few minutes is our 3 body weight centers. And the 3 body weight centers are gonna be our head, our rib cage, and our pelvis. Right now, we're just assessing, checking in, seeing how we're feeling.
can't hear you. I see your mouth moving. No.
About that. Everyone hear me now?
Yep. You're back.
Oh shit, man. I wish I knew how long I was talking to myself for, because what was the last thing you guys heard me say? Were we on head, rib cage, or hips?
Head.
I think at the very
Head?
beginning.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well, that's all right. We'll move on. I was fortunate enough. I have a second wireless mic that I just plugged in, so I'm charging the other one, so we should be good. But all right.
I thought that was all part of it. You're like, I'm not going to do very much talking. I'm going to let the movement talk.
Yeah, no, I was talking a shit ton. All right, but that's all right. So if I end up going silent for like more than a minute, just like checking, be like, Bri, we can't hear you.
All
We
right.
That
should
was
be
a very
good now.
quiet session. That was cool.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hope it was.
I'm glad that you were quiet.
Yeah, no, I hope it was a little meditative for you guys, so you can at least kind of check in and feel how your bodies are doing right now.
Mm.
All right, cool. Let's go on to the second part then. So we're going to be rolling through some flexion extension. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my chin down to my chest, and I'm going to feel the stretch in the back of the neck, and I'm going to start to peel down one vertebra at a time. So really, really, really slow, especially for the first one. And you're looking to segment your spine one vertebra at a time. So don't rush it. Become aware of areas that you can feel are moving and any areas that aren't moving. When you get to the bottom position, you're going to be in a forward fold, but you want to have your knees totally straight. So just check in if they bent at all. If they did, don't try to correct them. That's cool. They'll be fine. But on the next one, we'll try to keep them straighter. So from the bottom, you're going to start to roll back to the top, starting from the very bottom of your spine, or even go as far as like your tail or your sacrum. You'll roll all the way up. Your shoulders and your head will be the last thing to stack on top. And then we're going to continue back in extension using your eyes looking up to the ceiling and eventually to the wall behind you. And you're just testing out your range right now. So you don't need to go crazy on a stretch. Just notice where you can keep your coordination, keep your balance. Start to bring yourself back up, again, coming from the bottom of your spine. Head will be the last thing to stack on top. And then tuck the chin back down, and we'll slowly roll back down into flexion. So again, the idea here is you're learning how to segment each vertebra in your spine one at a time. Notice areas of where you're getting decent movement. Notice areas of lack of connection or you're not feeling too much. And you can roll through these two positions at a tempo that makes sense for you. I wanted to go really, really slow on the first one or two so you get an idea of what's happening. And again, you can check on what's going on with your knees. So you're trying to keep your knees as straight as you can, not by hyperextending them, but by leaving them stacked. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. Again, you're using your eyes to help lead the movement. If your eyes don't go there, your body won't go there. So use your eyes, especially when you're rolling back into extension. Let's keep this going for another minute. I'm just going to check in, see how everyone's doing. Nice. Yep, you're letting your hands hang heavy, especially when you're rolling down into flexion. And it's really not about going all the way down to the floor. It's more just assessing how the continuity of your back line feels as you're rolling into these two positions. How's this feeling for you, Jesse?
Good. I like
Good,
it.
good. Nice. Let's go maybe 2 more in each direction. No rush whatsoever. Take your time. Like I said, it could feel really good to go really, really slow. Very nice. We'll do 1 more in each direction. And wherever you're at, you can start making your way back to center. All right, beautiful. Wherever you're at, let's get an arm swing going. So drop your hands, reach all 10 of your fingertips forward, and you're just gonna get this nice, easy back and forth swing going. So as I'm getting to the front of my swing, I'm actively reaching all my fingers out. So keep this swing going and start to shift your weight left, right. Keep the movement big, keep it fluid. Don't put too much work into your arms and your shoulders, just let gravity do its thing. All about momentum. So start to make the step a little bit bigger. Try not to lose the tempo of the swing. Maybe you figured out some kind of rhythm to keep this going. Figuring out what time you need to swing your hands to be able to make the step. Make it even bigger now. Bring it back to the middle. Keep the arm swing happening. We're going to do a little heel lift on the front and the back of the swing. Lift, 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 lift. Yep, figure that out. If you can't get the double lift action, just keep it on the front. Doesn't really matter. If you figured out the double lift, good for you. Keep it going, keep it going. If it feels good, we're going to speed this up. We're going to turn it into a little jump. It's going to go a little bit faster. You can always keep it regressed, just keeping the heel lift going, or just the basic arm swing, whatever feels good. Bring it back to the double heel lift. Take the feet out of it, just keep the arm swing. And let the arms wind down. Don't stop them, Just let them slowly come to a stop. Might take 20 seconds, might take longer. So just let them do their thing naturally. Beautiful. Once they stop, we're going to go a little bit wider with the feet, maybe just outside shoulder width. What we're going to be doing is we're going to pivot on the left foot, and with the right hand, you're going to draw 3 circles, like you're washing the wall behind you with an open palm. After you get 3, you're going to pivot back to forwards, and then pivot the other side, 3 circles. Doesn't really matter which direction you're doing your circles. You're going to go pivot, pivot, circle, circle, circle. Right now you're feeling coordination between your hands and your feet, especially when you make the pivot. You should notice when you pivot, you get a bigger range of movement and you can turn backwards more. Rather than if you just left both feet facing forward, you're not going to be able to turn your hips as much. A couple more on each side. And good, come back to center. Everybody meet me here in this position. Both hands wide, reaching out. So, take right hand, you're gonna drop it over to the left. Drop it back. Drop the left. Drop it back. So we got drop, 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 drop. Should feel easy, should feel like a golf swing if you played golf. So I'm going to set a tempo. Follow my tempo the best you can. I'm going to slow it up and I'm going to speed it up. So pay attention, try to stay with me here. If you lose the tempo, don't worry about it. Just keep playing with it until it makes sense. You're using your mirror neurons right now to download what I'm doing with my body, and you're staying with me. Yep, here we go. Pay attention. Gonna speed it up a little bit. And I'm gonna slow it down. Pay attention again. Yep, stay with me. Should feel some nice rotation happening through your trunk. You're still getting a nice pivot with your back foot. And slow it down. Stay with me here. One more time, pick it up. A little faster, stay with me. And slow it down. Good, drop both arms. Shake them out for a second. We have one more for the arms. I'm coming a little closer so you can see. Right here is good. So everyone hold your hands underneath your armpits like you're carrying some watermelons. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna wiggle our thumbs. That's the direction our hands are gonna be traveling. So your thumbs are gonna reach out and up over your shoulders. They never turn palm down. And then you're gonna bring both of them back down underneath your armpits. So again, spiral out, up over the shoulders, palms are lifted, bring them back down. Bring them up again, out, up over the shoulders. This time, bring them in a little bit closer to the midline. Notice if your palms wanna flip over right here, Don't let them do that. Keep them right here. And then bring them back down. Yep, out and up. All the way this time. Bring them down. Bring them out wide behind the back. Bring them back underneath the armpit. So we're creating a spiral. This figure 8 pattern going up and down. And the palms are never turning palm down. They're staying lifted up. And if you don't got the coordination, keep practicing it. Keep it slow. Keep checking in with your hands. Notice if at any point they want to flip down. They're staying up. Here's what it looks like from the side. Way front, way in the back. I'm using all this space that I got here to create that figure 8. Nice. Yep. Keep that going. See how we're doing. Checking in. Yep. That's looking good. You guys feeling some good rotation in your shoulders happening right now?
Yeah.
Good connection, hand to shoulder. Great. Bring it back underneath the armpit. Now we're going to go out back behind the back. So you're going to wiggle your pinky. That's where we're initiating movement from now. So pinkies are going to go behind the back, out really wide, and then you're going to pull them over your shoulders. Serve the platter. Reach them out back behind your back, wide, open them over the shoulder. Serve the platter. Pinkies leading the party now. Awesome. Notice that at any point the hands want to flip too. Be conscious of it. Check in, slow it down when you get to those points. That's looking good. A few more. Last one. And good. Open up the feet, a little bit wider than your shoulders, and come down to a squat wherever you're at. Any place where you can feel that you can keep your heels flat to the ground. So somewhere in an active squat, it's going to make the most sense. If at any point you got to get up and kind of stretch out a little bit, feel free. We're going to go through some hip openers for a moment or two. So from here, let's bring the palms to prayer, elbows inside the knees, and you're going to leverage your hands together, opening your hips up. I'm going to come a little bit closer to you so you can see me a little bit better, I think. Yep. So you're going between passive and then leveraging. Passive, leveraging. I'm going to do a handful of these. Last one. Take your right hand, grab your left ankle. With your right shoulder, you're going to wedge that into your inner thigh if you can. And we're going to reach left hand up to the ceiling and then elbow down to the floor, alternating between reaching and then elbow to the floor. Switch to the other side. Left hand to right ankle. Left shoulder inside the right thigh if you can get it. Right hand reaches up. Right hand up, right elbow down. Good, come back to center. Last one, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a stick with the hands, as long of a stick as you need to be able to touch your forehead to the stick, and then you're gonna arch back. So if that's impossible, just float the hands to get a target between flexion and extension, or you can bring it down a little bit further. Last two. Come back to neutral and lift everything up at the same time. Ooh, yeah. Everything awake in the hips, legs.
Oh yeah.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let's come here. Moving my camera a little bit. Feet together, and we're gonna heel toe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. Look down at your toes. See if you can get them totally parallel with each other. So notice if your feet are turning out at all, you're gonna dial them in just a little bit. So if you look at the outside edge of your foot, it's gonna be pointed directly at the camera. So from here, gonna load all your weight to the right side. Feel that hip spiraling open, creating some torque into the floor, and then recenter it. Send it all the way to the left side. Feel the spiraling, recenter. Keep going on this. And what we're doing is we're keeping the spine really, really long. You're not reaching your weight super far forward. You're keeping it centered over your hips. So you should have a nice long spine as you're shifting your weight right foot, left foot. You should feel a nice inner thigh stretch on the straight leg and some rotation happening, some spiraling in the coiled leg. Everybody feel that?
Yeah.
So now we're gonna add, push back the shower curtain to one side, slide over, push back the shower curtain, slide, push back the curtain, slide, push back the curtain. One more on each. And good. Heel toe the feet back in. Take your time. And keeping the feet together, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach the hands forward as we're pulling the hips back. So we're creating hip hinge. So if you can feel head, rib cage, hips, as we were circling in the beginning of class, we're just gonna pull the hips back out of the line and then pull them back into the line. So really simple hip hinge. Just feel your hips pull back and then stack it all up again. Let's go for a bunch of these too. Yep. Also, keep your knees totally straight in this. We want to utilize the entire back line. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So check in with your knees. If you're bending them at all, figure out a way to keep them straight, not hyperextended, but just straight. It's going to feel a little bit different. Yep, good. Everyone pause for a second. So I wanna illustrate one point on this hip hinge, is that if we think about the back line of the body, and when I'm saying the back line of the body, I'm talking about all the fascia, all your connective tissue that literally runs from your plantar fascia, sole of the foot, up your Achilles, through your calves, hamstrings, glute, up your back, through your erectors, into your neck. It literally ends up wrapping all the way to your eyebrows. So imagine bottom of the foot, all the way up and around is your entire back line. Now what happens when we hinge, if I put a bend in my knees, I've now taken that one long back line and I've cut it into two. So you can feel it. If you were to pull your hips back and then bend your knees, you can feel a difference, right?
Yeah.
Less tension, right. We want to get used to using this whole back line as one unit. And I'm not saying hip hinging with a bent knee is bad, but I'm saying that there's something here to find. And it's usually going to highlight how deficient the hip hinge is if you only treat it with two segments most of the time. If you look at it as one long line, foot to head, you probably won't be able to hinge as deep. And at the same time, this is getting into a lot of the nitty gritty of the back line that we don't normally access. So let's all do a handful more with the straight legs, feeling the hips pull back, and then coming right back into alignment. Right. I like it. Let's go last two. All right, beautiful. So one more mobility drill, and then we're going to work into the hands a little bit. I'm going to show you 3 different progressions. Here's going to be progression 1. If you want to do all 3 with me so you can feel them out, and then choose the one that makes sense for you, that's what I'm going to recommend. So for progression 1, we're going to come down to the knees. I'm going to go right knee down, and my left foot, I'm going to take a big step forward with that foot. So my foot is a little bit in front of my knee. And then with that forward foot, that left foot, I'm going to turn the toes out to a 45-degree angle. Everyone got that?
Yep.
So now from here, if I bring both of my hands to my shoulders, I can practice flexing my spine and extending my spine, the same practice that we did in the beginning of class. And what I want to do is I want to find where I end up in extension. So if I lean my shoulders back and I can't go back any further, that's my extension right there. I'm going to hold in extension, and with whatever foot I have forward, that same side hand is going to reach out, rotate, and touch the back leg somewhere. It could mean touch the hamstring. If you can go further, it could mean touch the calf. If you can go further, you touch the ankle or the heel. And then you bring the hand back to the shoulder. The whole time you stay in extension of the spine. So you never come back to vertical, you stay leaned back. So checkpoint, touch the foot, checkpoint, touch the shoulder. Touch the foot, touch the shoulder. So we're getting the body used to extension plus rotation. Do a handful more of these. I'm just going to check in with everyone's alignment, see how it's looking. Good. Everyone feeling this pretty good? You might be feeling it in your rear leg hip flexor.
No, that's where I get mine the most.
We lost his audio.
And
Man down.
We have audio again?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, well, I'm just going to keep on swapping out these microphones for the rest of class, and that's going to be how it goes. All right, so let's switch to the other side if you haven't set that up yet. Same setup, kneeling version. And so this is called the diagonal stretch. Diagonal for the reason that we're opening up the link between one hand and the opposite foot in this extended and rotated position. So it's a huge long stretch that you should be feeling, and we'll progress it in a moment after we've tested out version 1. Yep, so whenever you guys are ready, you're gonna have your right foot forward now, left foot back, lean back into extension. With the right hand, you're gonna rotate back, touch the leg, touch the shoulder. Let's go for 8 reps on this one. Maybe 10 if you did more. Nice, and keep playing with your front foot. Make sure it's all the way turned out into external rotation, somewhere around a 45-degree angle. The idea is we're gonna create some stability in this position, which might feel foreign at first, but when we stand up, you're gonna want it. Last one, and good. All right, so we're gonna do progression 2 together. If it's too much, go back to do another set of this first progression that we just worked, but we're gonna work it from a standing position now. So let's start with our feet both turned out at a 45-degree angle. So you should have a nice right angle in between your heels. We're gonna go right big toe to the left heel, and then you're gonna slide it back. Really long step. Here's what it looks like from the side. Right big toe to the heel, big slide back. So you got 2 options. Option 1, you bend into your front knee to create some stability if you don't have much there. And you do the same movement, you lean back and you rotate, either touching the hamstring, the calf, or ultimately the heel. If you got the stability, you start to straighten both legs. And it's the same movement from there. We're gonna go 8 reps on each side. Take your time. If you fall out of it, set it up and do it again. Don't count it. Don't count the shitty reps. And you can play with, yeah, that front leg. The more you bend it, the more stability that you're going to create. As it starts feeling better, you're going to start to straighten it more and more. The back knee should be getting straighter and straighter. So the more you straighten your back knee, the more you're getting into your hip. Yeah, hold on to your butts. And Elliot, make sure you're rotating towards your front foot. So you're rotating left if you have your left foot forward. It'll feel similar, but at the same time, it'll feel so different. Yeah, there you go. Keep the extension, keep leaning your shoulders back. Yep, lay back, there you go. The more you're extending your spine, the more you're becoming aware of especially your shoulder blades and where the rotation is coming from. The rotation is going to be coming from your T-spine, higher up from your lower back. That was good. How are these going, Pete?
They're going.
All right. That sounds about right for the diagonal stretch. Not the most glorious of movements, but you get an incredible bang for your buck in terms of mobility, increasing extension and rotation abilities, and the hip stability big time in the front hip in that external rotation. Usually is a pretty weak line for a lot of people who haven't played with these much. How'd that go, Jesse? Version 1 makes sense for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Where are you feeling this the most?
My hamstrings, like that stretching part.
Right on. Yep, keep the shoulders leaning back. Yep, that's where you're going.
And my back too. I feel it in my back.
Yeah, definitely. All right, wrap up whatever rep you're on, and we're gonna come onto the floor and we'll open up the hands. We got about 10 minutes left, so we'll try to fly through this, but I do wanna get into some some upper body. So come onto the floor. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to plant my hands underneath my shoulders and I'm going to lean forward on my hands just a little bit. So you got your shoulders leaning past your hands as much as they can take. And then we're going to just shift weight, right side, left side. You should feel a moment of balance. Your body is shifted over that hand, so it's kind of like walking. Every time you pick your hand up, I want you to find a new position. So you can practice turning your hands all the way out, turn them all the way in, work them on the backhand in all positions as well, and also your fist. So you got 3 options. You got forehand, you got backhand in all directions, you got fist. So waking up the shoulders a little bit. A couple more. Come back to center. Take your right hand, flip your right fingers towards your right knee. Here, we're gonna bring the elbow back to see how much you can peel your palm off the floor, keeping your first row of knuckles grounded on the ground. So you're assessing how much your palm peels up, but don't let your fingers or your knuckles come off the ground. It might be literally a millimeter. That's totally fine. You don't want to force it. You just want to notice what you got for range on this. As it opens up, you'll be able to get it further and further back. But for now, just play with peeling your palm off the ground. Last one. And you're going to take that fist, the one that you just worked, and you're going to counter stretch it. So you're going to make a fist, and then you're going to curl it inwards. So you got this kind of reverse curl going on. Hold that for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then switch hands. Left hand's going backwards. Peel the palm. Elbow goes back. Let's go last 2. And then same counter stretch. So make a fist, curl the knuckles in. 3, 2, 1, and good. We're gonna come fists together, down onto the forearms. And same thing, if I'm set up from the side, I wanna be leaned over my hands a little bit here. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna keep the fist intact. Rule number 1, don't let the fist explode open. Keep it tight. You're gonna start to push weight into the top of the hand. You're testing to see how straight you can get your elbows. If you can only get to here and your fists start to come off the ground or they pop open, that's your range for today. Your checkpoint is all the way up and then elbows all the way down. So think of it as like kind of a push-up on the top of your hands. Don't let your fist pop open. And the closer you keep your hands to your knees, the more body weight I put into my legs, so the easier it gets. The more I reach it out, the harder it's going to become. So adjust accordingly. Inward is easier, outward is harder. Let's go for last one. And good. Let's go. Everybody sit back on the toes for a minute. So I'm chilling in this position right here. So since we don't have a ton of time left, we're going to do 2 movements. We'll go some straight arm strength today. And first one's going to be a planche lean. So how I'm going to set up for that, I'm going to show you from this side. It's going to be similar to a plank. I'm going to open up my hands like crazy wide. Those are going right to the outsides of my shoulders. And I'm going to do 3 things with my shoulders. I'm gonna externally rotate. So I'm gonna try to wrap my biceps forward. I'll show you from the front. So there's my internal rotation. There's my external rotation. So we got external rotation, boom. Depression, I'm pulling them down away from my ears. And if you don't know what that move is, we'll talk about it in a second. And then protraction, pushing away as far as I can. For this first one, we're just gonna lift the knees and you're gonna touch knee to the wrist for 3, 2, 1, step it back. 3, 2, 1 on the other side, step it back. You're gonna go for 5 on each side. So if you don't know what depression is, if you hold your, actually, if you just relax your shoulders, shrug them up to your ears, and then pull them down away from your ears as hard as you can. If you don't got that, it'll make it difficult. Everyone doing okay on this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keep your shoulders leaning forward over your hands as much as you can. You want to test your range of how much your wrist can take that angle. Try to hold the knee all the way to the wrist for 3 seconds. Yep. Good. Everyone feel like they're pushing the floor away as far as possible?
Well,
Awesome. Any of you guys have experience with planches?
A little bit.
Elliot, I saw you doing some gymnastics stuff before, so I don't know if you have you ever done planche?
Not, I mean, we've tried a little bit, but not that much, no.
Okay, cool. Pete, planche experience? All right, beautiful. So I'm going to show you two versions. So this is what we're going to be working for. This is your planche right here. It's that same setup that we just worked. We're going to work 2 different ways to do it today. First one is going to be that same foundation of external rotation, depression, protraction. And this time I'm going to send both feet back. I'm going to kick into the ground with the tops of my feet. I want to lean as far forward as I can. When I can't lean any more forward, I'll feel like I'm falling or my wrists are going to explode. Don't treat this like an inline plank. Bring your hips up a little bit so you can focus on maximum protraction of your shoulders. Let's all give this one a shot right now. It might feel funky to be on the tops of your feet. When you get it, see if you can hold it for 10 to 20 seconds. And the test is if you can drag your feet forward anymore, that lets you know you're at your end range. Nice, yep, Elliot, that looks pretty good. Nice, Nathan, yep. And Nathan, you can even lift your hips up another 2 inches too. See what that feels like. Yep, now, yep, strong kick into the floor with your feet. Yep, nice, that looks pretty good too, Jesse. And yep, Pete, I can't see you from the side, but from the front, it looks pretty good. Try putting your big toes together to touch. Yep, we'll rest a few seconds and then we'll rattle off one more for another 10 to 20 seconds. Is this shoulder position making sense for everybody? The external rotation, protraction, depression? Thumbs up. All right, cool. Nice, yep. Yeah, now think, drag your body forward, Pete, and lift your hips another 3 inches higher. A little higher. Yep, you feel that now?
Oh yeah.
Good, yep, you got it dialed in. Yep. Yeah, that looks pretty good, Elliot. Same thing, keep trying to reach forward as much as you can, test out your range. That's it, yep, total straight arms. And beautiful, good. So let's pair this, we got one more move left. We're gonna be doing an active arching hang. I'm gonna show you a couple different versions. I'll show you right here. All right, so if you got a bar, we're gonna be going overhand grip, and Jesse, I'll give you a variation in a second. So
Okay.
for the active arching hangs, what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna start passive. You're gonna reach your big toes back as far as you can. So you're going into hip extension, and then you're gonna lay back into your shoulders. You're creating this C shape. The more you reach your big toes back and the more you lay back into your shoulder blades, more extension you should feel. You'll hit that for 5 seconds and then come back to passive and then repeat the process. Reach the big toes back, lay back into the shoulder blades. 3, 2, 1, and then back to passive. Jesse, you're gonna grab that doorknob and you're gonna hang off of it by holding it and just pulling your hips back.
Okay.
So wherever you're at, yep, you're just gonna grab it and then just hang your body off of it. So you're just getting used to brachiating. Yep, keep pointing your big toes together, Nathan. So they're touching, and then reach them back first. Keep them touching as they're reaching back, and then lay back into your shoulders, but don't lose the reach back with the toes. Yep. Yep, nice, Elliot. That looks pretty good. Yep, 5-second hold, and then come back to passive. Feel free to reset if you need to as well. Nice. And you're ultimately feeling a ton of depression in your shoulder blades as well as some retraction. And it's just going to happen as a result of you laying back into your shoulders. How's that feeling, Elliot?
It feels like a 40-year-old body. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's a new movement. So this stuff is going to feel really foreign at first. But the more we visit it, it's going to make sense and you'll feel progression pretty quickly. So if you get a handful of these, and if you want to, you can mix this with the planche lean that we practice. So this is straight arm strength, and it's different from bent arm because we're bypassing the spiraling of the arms a lot. So we're not like pulling in with bent arms. We're keeping everything in the shoulder blades. And this is a really important skill to learn as we're going into like more gymnastic stuff. As we get into locomotion on the ground, we want to develop as much shoulder blade strength as possible to kind of prepare for like arm balancing, more complex, variations of hanging. I don't know if you've played with any like levers or anything on the rings like that, but this is kind of our foundation of what we're going to be working with. How's that feel on the doorknob, Jesse? You're muted, but I'm guessing it's going pretty well. Awesome. And Jesse, you getting a good stretch through your lats?
Yeah, I am.
Awesome.
It's nice to superset these two together because the hanging is so much grip, and then the planching is so much just like
Yeah,
stretching
they
the-
complement each other very, very well.
Yeah.
Pete, how did yours go?
Not great. However,
Not great, you said?
yeah, it's a movement I've never done before. So
Yeah, what elements did you find especially challenging of that movement?
That second step after the extension of the legs, kind of
Yep.
the
This
rotation
part right
into
here, laying back.
the rotation into the laying back part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you do your next set, play with maybe protracting and retracting your shoulder blades. And then also play with laying back, almost from like a standing version. Like if you were just kind of standing and doing that first, imagine what it feels like to lay back into your shoulder blades. And that'll kind of prime the movement for you. Because what we're doing is we're asking the body to create a lot of thoracic extension. And this area it's typically like not super keen on that because we sit a lot and we don't do very much extension in general with this stuff, especially from hanging. So it might feel really foreign, but if you just stand and practice laying back into your shoulder blades, you'll start to make the connection right before you go into the hang. What's up, Elliot?
I definitely feel it a lot in the lower back and in my glutes. And I don't know whether that's because of stuff we were doing before or just like contracting all those muscles somehow.
Okay. So for shits and giggles, grip it like this and let me know how it feels. Do a rep with a supine grip and see what that's like.
I'm not saying it is a bad thing. I'm just saying where I feel it the most, really.
Yeah. And I'm gonna have you explore this to give yourself even more information of where you might be feeling it and areas that you might not be feeling it as much. Can you feel that more in your lats now? Any different?
I mean, it felt a little easier, but still just that like bending of the lower back and that kind of like really pushing the glute hard through.
Yeah, so it's gonna come, your total extension of your body is not so much gonna be housed just in your glutes or your lower back. And this is why I'm giving you this movement, because there's an opportunity here to learn how to create more extension of your T-spine. When you start to get more extension from your T-spine, you're getting less bunched up active tissue in your glutes and your lower back, and you're dispersing that energy through your whole back line, which is why that diagonal stretch is so beneficial, because it gets you out of rotating and moving from your lower back and more into your T-spine. So over time, we're looking for full body continuity in this extension position. So I would suggest keep practicing and playing with it and keep laying your shoulders back. Make that more of the emphasis than squeezing your glutes or moving from your low back.
Okay.
Yeah. How did that one go, Pete? Any different?
Better.
Better. All right, cool.
Better.
Nice, nice. And Jesse, how you doing? What are you working right now?
My shoulder, we did a lot of shoulder things, so I'm resting my shoulders.
Right on, cool. Something good for you, Jesse, that you can practice right here? Elevation.
Yeah, I never could do that. I want to do that one day.
Yeah, you can even do it just sitting down. So if you just shrug your shoulders up to your ears and then pull your shoulders down away from your ears, you practice that 5 times for 3 seconds. That will get you used to feeling this boom, depressed position.
Okay.
So that would be good to do instead of the more advanced stuff. Start with that. That should feel pretty good.
Cool.
Is there a distance that you like to have between your hands when you're on that bar? Wide grip?
I'm usually at shoulder width because I'm typically doing these on rings too. So you can play with it too. Don't feel like it needs to be a certain way. Explore it. Go wider, go narrow, and just see what you notice. So pretty much I'm asking you to gather more and more information by trying different things and then you'll understand it better. And, you know, some things might light up in different positions. So play with all of it. Nice. And Jesse, how are your hangs going?
My hangs is good.
All right. I'd recommend doing like a good 10 to 15 seconds with each arm, and then you can switch. Or if you can grab both hands on the same handle, do both of them for maybe 15 or 20 seconds.
Okay.
Think, get your elbows as straight as you can and let your shoulders relax. Elliot, did you just go wide?
No, I tried narrower. I'll try.
How'd that
wide.
feel?
It felt good. I felt like I was able to go back. I was less like concerned with the C curve of like my feet. So I kind of wasn't putting as much like emphasis on pushing my feet back. And I found that I was able to lean back further.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So are we going back and forth between this and the planches? Is that the idea?
Yep. We're doing about 3 rounds. And my next question, how are we doing on time, you guys? Do we need to wrap up, or are you good to go for another 5-10 minutes? How's it feel?
I'm good to go.
I can keep going.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm good.
Cool. All right, sweet. Yeah, let's go for another we'll go another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll start to wrap it up. So let's get, did everyone get 3 rounds each of this one?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, good. We ready for more then?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So I'm going to give you guys another lower body one. It's going to be similar to the setup of the diagonal stretch. And then I'm going to give you a couple progressions for it too. So let's all try this. We'll stand back up. And we're going to start with the feet together. Take the right foot, big step back. And Jesse, if you want, you can do this next to a wall so you have some balance too.
Okay.
That goes for everybody. So from this position, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the floor with your front foot. So your left foot, you're going to squeeze the floor. Everyone got their left foot active? Everybody reach their hands up over their head and pull their elbows down so you can feel your shoulder blades just gently activating with each other in the back. You're going to pull your front foot in towards your belly button, activating your left hamstrings. You're going to pull as deep as you can. At the end range, you should feel front compression in your left hip, as well as activation in your left hamstrings, because you are pulling your front foot towards you. Pull both hips back, straight legs. Pull into your front foot again. Heel stays grounded. Keep pulling with your left hamstrings. And then pull both hips back to straight legs. Keep going on this. I'm just going to check in with everybody. So at no point should you feel like you're falling over your front leg. Keep activating your left hamstrings to pull you into the move. It's not so much an up and down move as it is a back and forward move. So you're really understanding here how to pull with the back line of your front leg. Does everyone understand this?
Yeah.
Can everyone feel their front hamstrings active as they pull forward?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to go for about 8 reps, and then you can switch out to the other side. You should be feeling a tremendous splitting of the hips sensation going on. And Pete, you got it by the look of your face. Yep. Everyone feel compression at the very end range, deep into that. You got the compression, Elliot?
Yeah.
Great.
Can you explain what that means, compression, in that case?
So compression is what you're feeling when that hip can no longer go into any more flexion. It is like maxed out at its end range, and the joint actually starts taking force because there's no more flexion left to go. So the joint's going to start compressing. It's going to be getting like pushed together. So you should feel when you hit that compression line that that's as far down as you can go into hip flexion. And hip flexion meaning how high your knee can come up into your chest. Right, exactly, Jesse. Make sure you're coming back to totally straight knees when you come back to reset. Straightening your knee joints out is going to give you another opportunity to use the back line of your leg as one unit to pull into the bent knee position. The first movement is forward. It's not down. It's you're pulling forward. And then coincidentally, you start going down as you keep pulling your front heel in towards your midline of your body. Yeah. And then when you got 8, you can rest a second. I'm gonna throw one more move at you. Or you can do another one of those active arching hangs if you finished up. We'll plan to go into the second move in about 30 seconds. So whatever you want to do for that 30 seconds. Yeah, it looks like you're getting some good extension on that, Elliot.
Yeah.
Could everyone feel their hamstrings really working in that extended split squat?
Yeah.
Anyone not feel their hamstrings?
Yeah, I mean, I have pretty good mobility when it comes to the squat and the like flexibility of like being able to really get ass to grass. And so sometimes I struggle with like engaging that muscle when the muscles around there, when I'm in that kind of motion. So when you said the like pull forward as opposed to drop down, that definitely helped me think about it a little differently.
Awesome. Great. All right. I'm going to give you one more straight. I'm going to show you 2 versions that you can work. Let's do the first one together. This one we're also going to do from that quadruped position, that kind of planche setup. We're going to push off the ground and we're going to practice lifting opposite hand, opposite foot. You balance out that for 3 seconds and then switch over to the other side, opposite hand, opposite foot. Jesse, if this is too challenging, go hand and knee, but you can still keep your toes on the ground. So you're just going to be lifting your hand and your knee, but your foot is still grounded. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. All right. So let's go for 3 on each side for that one. 3-second contralateral balance. Contralateral meaning opposite side. Keep your knees low to the floor. Keep your body leaned forward over your hands as much as you can. All right, beautiful. Can finish that up. And now we're going to go into the second progression. So option to keep it there, or we're going to start flipping it. So you got your contralateral balance, and then you're slowly going to start to pivot, match hands, and then switch to the other side when you're inverted, making a full 360. So there's my lift, lift, pivot, match, lift the opposite set, pivot again. Slow and steady. If that's too much, keep it at the version that you just worked. Let's go for 3 rotations in each direction. Keep getting your weight over your hands as much as you can. So notice if you start to slide back when it gets difficult, keep your weight directly over your hands. Go slow too. Notice any points where you fall into position. Minimize the falling, maximize the control. So slow it down, program the movement very, very slowly so you have access to all of it. Nice. Finish whatever you're on, and we're going to go back to one more round on that extended split squat after you get your 3 and 3. Yep. Also very important, as you got Elliot, feeling the shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades are your connection to the back line of your body. So it's very important to be noticing what your shoulder blades are doing through all of the movements. Yep, we'll keep it at 8 reps. You working your split squats right now, Jesse?
Yep.
Awesome. And Jesse, I'm going to show you one more version that you can work too if you want to play with this. You can work it from kneeling position. So I go here, I'm just going to pull forward and then pull back. Pull forward, then pull back. And same thing, you can use a wall if you want a little bit extra support too. So do what feels good. If it feels good to do it from the knees, that might not be a bad thing at all. You're getting some good movement programming happening. The more confident you are in what you're doing. Yeah, remember to feel that connection all the way through the bottom of your foot. Your foot is grabbing the floor in front of you and pulling your body to it.
Yeah.
Yep, very, very nice. And is everybody good on the split squats?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you one more. So this one, we're going to start from a squat position. I'm going to call out a number on the clock between 1 and 12. And I'm also going to say
1:30. I got another call at 1:30. So.
All right, cool. Yep, I'll wrap it up in the next minute then. So here's the deal. I'm going to call out a number between 1 and 12. You're sitting in a clock in a squat. We're going to start with, I'll say right hand. I might say 2 o'clock. If I call out 2 o'clock, your hand comes out to the 2 o'clock position. You're going to lean onto it. Let me show you a little further back. Right hand, 2 o'clock, comes out. I'm going to lean onto that hand. Stack the shoulders. Once you got the shoulders stacked, push the floor away, lift up onto your tippy toes for 3, 2, 1. Come back to squat. I might say left hand, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock position. Stack the shoulders. Lift up onto the tippy toes. 3, 2, 1. Back down. Could be 6 o'clock right hand. Back. Lift up onto the tippy toes. 3, 2, 1. This can also be done, Jesse, if you want to work these from kneeling position, same thing. I might say left hand, 9 o'clock. There's your stack right there. We're getting used to pushing the floor away and loading with one shoulder now. Does that make sense? All right, let's dance then. Everybody down on the floor. Let's go right hand, 2 o'clock. So plant the hand, stack the shoulders, lift up onto the tippy toes. So lift your hips high. 3, 2, 1. Back to squat. Left hand, 9 o'clock. Plant at 9 o'clock, stack the shoulders, lift the hips up, get onto the tippy toes for 3, 2, 1. Back to squat. Right hand, 4 o'clock. Plant it, stack the shoulders, lift up, tippy toes, find it, lay onto that hand. 3, 2, 1. Back to squat. 7 o'clock, left hand. Stack them, lift the hips, tippy toes. 3, 2, 1. Back to squat. Right hand, 12 o'clock. Lift. 3, 2, 1. Last one. Left hand, 5 o'clock. Three, 2. Keep lifting the hips up high. 2, 1, and back to squat. Awesome job, you guys.
I had to think about that last one for a second.
No, you were fucking
I know,
with us
right?
with that
I
last
gave
one.
you that last one as a little mustache twirler. Let's see how you figure that one out. Awesome job, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I tried to expose you guys to probably a lot of things that you haven't experienced before, but my whole philosophy, again, is learning what you don't know. And you'll have more tools, more experience to constantly learn new things faster and progress quicker with this in mind. So I had a great time working with you guys. Thanks again.
Thanks, Brian. I enjoyed that.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Good stuff, bro.
I'm gonna get a
All
drink
right.
and I'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah.
I guess we don't get off the call. We just stay here, right?
That's beautiful. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you have an awesome afternoon, and I'll catch you again.
Awesome.
Bye.
You know it.
Peace out.